Carol Marak at carolmarak.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Solo and Smart, where I offer achievable tips for people growing older alone. And today's topic is the first of a two-part series on how solo boomers' retirement differs from their parents. And in the second post and video, I'll discuss the skills that are needed for planning a solo retirement or a solo lifestyle as we grow older. But the skills that are needed for planning or navigating and planning for aging alone really are very different. And they're also very new and unlike the way it was for our parents. One reason is because we live alone as solo agers, and everything falls on the one person, from bills to mortgages to car loans to food, and all cost of living falls on the individual. Our lives are vastly different from married people as well, because the individual doesn't have someone to do the simple tasks with, or have someone to offer to pitch in with chores around the house, or run an errand, or change a light bulb, or fix the toilet. I love that one when I have to do that one alone. And or even more complex things like driving me to the doctor if I'm unable to do so, or even to check in on me, or to bring me a bowl of soup, or to have a conversation with me when I come home from work, for example, and I had a tough day. But what's really more important, and what I really miss, is having someone that I trusted, trust completely, to have to discuss medical or financial decisions with. And there are so many things folks living alone must face and do on our own. And solo boomers are different from older relatives. For example, parents, at least my parents, had a full company pension to rely on once they retired. And they definitely had loving offspring and a wide spread of extended family who was there to help out if they needed, whereas most solo agers don't. And parents stay together through thick and thin, whereas solo boomers, or boomers period, we have the highest divorce rates. And our parents grew up in the Depression, whereas boomers grew up in a more prosperous time. And we made more money and had access to credit cards and spent more freely because it's good for the economy. So how does this alter a solo person's retirement preferences and lifestyle in comparison to their parents? Well, I know for my parents, they were definitely part of the greatest generation, where they were much more cautious about saving for retirement because they had lived through the Great Depression. And my dad, as I recall, saved practically every nickel he could get his hands on. And he also retired at 63 because he had learned to invest and save all those nickels wherever he could, and opened up a various savings accounts, CDs, bought bonds, certificates of deposits, and you name it, my dad did it. And my parents never, ever traveled or went on vacations. If they did, they stayed within Texas and went for maybe 2 days, the longest. They were away from home. So boomers have a much different retirement preference. Plus, we're living longer and retiring in our 70s if we're lucky, but certainly not in our 60s. For solo agers, we can't retire that young. Most of us wait till our 70s. And furthermore, we do like to travel and dine out and spend more on entertainment and attraction. And I think another reason why we want to retire at a later age is because we want to stay involved and engaged in life and stay active. Not so much active in fitness, but we do. However, but I'm talking about engaging our brains and in staying involved with other people and also having a sense of giving back to society. I think is really sustaining for us. But what's even more relevant is solo boomers don't want to retire and grow older, right? I mean, just for the reasons I just mentioned. We want more meaningful lives. And it's quite obvious that we grew up in a very different world than our parents did. Well, this is kind of setting the stage. It's the first video and post on how our lives, our solo boomers' lives, are especially different than our own parents. And in the next video and post, I will discuss where solo boomers go from, where do we go from here when planning ahead for the future. And that particular post and video will be called Skills Needed to Plan for Aging Alone. So circle back in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, check out my solo aging master group coaching, because these are some of the things that we discuss online as a group. We learn new strategies and share resources. And believe me, when you're talking with peers and sharing new ideas and strategies that we've all learned on our own, we are a very resourceful place to learn new ways of living. And so join us there. The link is below in the description of this video. Well, thank you for joining me today, and circle back in the next in my next published video, which should be in a day or two, where I will give you more achievable tips and definitely talk more about skills needed to plan for aging alone. Well, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a like and forward to a friend if you wish. And I will see you in the next few days.